Do you currently owe anybody any money? Not a large sum, but like $20 from this or dinner or $10 or $5 from here? No.
When's the last time you sent a Venmo request?
I don't have Venmo.
My man, look
Off
at
the
you.
grid.
What do you like about that?
I don't know. It's a classy
I
operation.
got PayPal.
Ooh.
But I got into PayPal back in the early days when I was selling Magic cards on eBay.
Let's put a...
And Dragon Ball Z VCDs.
Magic. How do you spell magic?
MAG.
Okay.
ICDORK.
Magic the Gathering.
Really?
All right. Was that a lucrative business for you?
Buying and selling collectibles. Yeah.
You were
a Pokemon guy.
I collected Pokemon a little bit, but I was more a Magic player.
What's that called? Arbitrage? Where you buy for, you know?
Arbitrary.
No, I think it's arbitrage. Could be
Albatross.
wrong.
Consignment?
No.
I'm not sure.
What is Magic? What's the difference between Magic the Gathering?
Gary, it's arbitrage, right? Yeah, I think it's...
What's the difference between Magic the Gathering and Pokemon?
Listen, if you have to ask, you
Other
can't
than-
afford it, all
Other
right?
than a kiss on the forehead. Make way for the paying customers, fatty.
Hey, if you're just going to be here kicking tires, I'll send you to the house to watch the
Trying
car.
to move merchandise. I have some used silverware you might be interested in.
I'm on PayPal right now.
I never played Pokemon. I look at Pokemon more as like I punch you, you punch me. Magic is a little more strategy. I think of it like an adult Pokemon. It's
Your mana pool, I remember that.
yeah.
Okay.
It's there's more strategy. It's chess with cards.
Really?
Yeah, and you get instead of having a set amount of pieces, you build your own deck, and you could cast your spells and have your planeswalkers and have your creatures.
I remember trying and not being... The only thing I ever retained was mana.
Somebody
your mana
get the
pool.
football, will you?
Well, you need somewhere to relax.
Your mana was your land or something,
Mana's
right?
currency, yes, land,
yeah.
but like basically to cast spells, typically you need to have a certain amount of mana. Yeah.
Should have cast a spell on Sarah. You might have got a little action that night.
We had sex and she blew me and I ate her out.
Okay.
We had a kiss first.
Jump from a kiss on the forehead.
This guy can close.
Did you guys know at the time that those cards were going to be worth something?
Yeah, they were. You knew, because I remember that. I got into it for that
Like, did
reason.
you keep... you did.
I was trying to wet my beak on this mana. Hey, there's the land deal. There's enough to go around.
Dual lands are really
These nerds
expensive
are paying
now.
top dollar for these
Dual
things.
lands are in the thousands of dollars now.
I remember going to a guy to buy a deck, and he was like, "You could." There's a thing. He was selling me. Now that I look back on it, he Glassman to me. He was like, "They could this deck. You're looking for this card. It could be in here." So I bought like 3 decks, and I got all mana. I was screwed.
What, would you go like every Saturday when a new deck came out?
FNM, Friday Night Magic. That was...
Is that the name of the place?
Friday Night Magic is a thing that, like, card stores have Friday Night Magic. That's what it is. It's just, you have... There's Monday Night Football, there's Friday Night
There's
Magic.
that place in the village. Like where across the street from the chest. It's like they have that. It's
Oh,
like
yes, I know
a
what you're
table
talking
game,
about.
like a card game type spot.
And you'd go, and my dad would drop me off at the card store on Friday night, and they were open till midnight. And that's where... And you would play, and there was a Papa John's across the street, and I don't eat cheese... But Papa John's I always referred to as easy peel pizza because if I was going to get a whole pizza, I wanted to split it with somebody because at the time I couldn't really afford a proper pizza. I would want to get my own pizza without cheese, but there I'm like, hey, we'll get it with cheese. And also if you want, I'll even give you my cheese. And I would peel it off with a fork. You just take it from the base and you could peel it off in one piece, big triangle. So I loved Papa John's, dude.
You know what's funny is we would have been good friends because for a long time I was just cheese. I didn't like the pizza. And I would peel it off when it got like maybe 10 minutes out of the oven, and I'd roll it up and then put it in my mouth like a piece of gum and then take sips of the soda, and it would harden in my mouth.
Yeah, that's
That's all right.
You get the check, please.
that's
Jesus
all right.
Christ.
How
Surrounded
old
by
of
queso freaks.
How old of a fella were you when you were doing this on a Friday night?
High school.
Like after freshman year? Like sophomore, junior, senior year?
Probably mostly like 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
Maybe 12 too.
That doesn't
That's
sound
all of high school. Maybe a little to college. I'm not sure. Shout out Kent State.
because that doesn't sound like a bad Friday night. They'd let you hang out in the store?
Yeah. I know I was going there younger too. So pre-high school into high school, I guess. I'm now remembering because I remember
I mean, you're not eating chicks out if you're going to Friday Night Magic.
I had to date a girl for 6 months before I kissed the top of her head. No, I wasn't eating girls out until
Lose the
until
cloak.
college.
Maybe you get a little headway.
And by the way, I went D1.
There you go.
I'm not sure I get it.
That doesn't sound like a
P1
bad
of
Friday
eating-
night.
eating
That's a
girls
sweet.
out.
That's a sweet.
That was I gotcha.
Well, I'm just saying I was in a D1 school when I first ate a girl out. No, I was in high school, and I dated a girl recently whose birthday was 2 days before mine.
Whoa.
And it's like, oh, it's interesting that I'm finding these strong, independent women who share birthdays that are so close to mine.
Her birthday was July 21st.
It probably still is. Route 66.
Whoa. Prank caller.
Can I say that sounds like a nice Friday night? The guy wouldn't give you guys shit for hanging out in there?
No,
That's the whole
That's
idea.
the business. You bring people. It's like that's their happy hour.
Now, what kind of creature was he? Somebody that looked like me? Some heavy-set guy, like comic book man?
You mean like a crawl worm? Put up a picture. No, he's a great guy.
You mean like a
an
tremor?
adult.
Eli, yeah.
Eli.
An adult. He was a great guy. And also, my dad worked at the rug store. Shout out to Marshall Rug Gallery.
Right.
And it was like a mile down the road from there. So sometimes I would go to work with my dad, like during the summers, and then I would just go to the card shop, and I would be there, and there was not that many people. During the day, people come in, they buy stuff, and they leave. Not that many people are there necessarily playing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tables in the back?
tables in the back.
Cool.
And I would just sit there. I would just be there for hours, like looking at the comic books and asking questions and looking in the case at all the cards and asking him questions and stuff. And I was there all the time. And I remember there was one time I must have asked him too many questions. And by the way, what I'm about to say, Eli's a great guy. He was just telling how it was.
Shut the fuck up!
No,
Listen, kid.
he said something to me once about something like, I'm there all the time.
I can
listen,
pick
we're on
up-
Eli's side.
As of now in the story, I'm Team Eli. All
Of
right,
course.
all right, guy.
And he goes, he said something where I was like, hey man, I'm not your babysitter. I remember.
Where are your parents?
I remember when he said that. I got embarrassed. I got embarrassed because it was only then that I realized, oh no, I'm here too much. And I got really embarrassed that I was there, and I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought like I was just hanging out and asked. I'm so sorry. I was just like, even now I can remember that feeling. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Kiss him on the head and get out of there.
I don't want to eat your cheese. Get out of here.
But I see him. When I go back, I still go in there, and like I was there not too long ago because
Listen, kid, it's just a fucking job for me, okay?
part of my merch. I have these trading cards that are awesome. Go to tysocards.com. I want you to see them. I want to make you guys cards.
Okay.
I do make them with previous guests. And then here, click here.
Very nice.
Aren't those amazing?
Oh, those are really
pretty
cool.
Shout out to Scott Hepburn, who's a Marvel illustrator.
Sam Morrell, Mark Norman, those are
Aren't
fantastic.
those really cool? And we turn them into different like characters. And the cards, they're holofoil. They're awesome. Like as a card collector,
You got Blake Griffin on here and not us? That's crazy.
well, I would love to. Who would you guys think?
What kind of superpowers would I have?
Well, I'd like to ask people to tell me who.
I told you the cheese thing.
Do you have any characters that you resonate with?
Do I have any character, like comic book characters that I resonate with?
Any
He's
characters?
got the same tits as Wonder Woman.
And the same taste in men, huh? Tall, dark, and Kryptonian.
So I was
Nothing on that?
You
What?
should make him Eli.
Eli would have killed that.
So I went into his card store recently because I was
Okay.
traveling and I needed some cases, and I got a couple of cardboard cases, and he just gave them to me. I'm like, no. He's like, no, take the cases. And I was like, you know what? That whole babysitting thing that I've been sitting on for a decade,
Yeah, you gotta let it
I
go.
think you're cool with me.
Yeah. You've been a customer 20-something years.
Man, did I love going there because I didn't really have friends.
Mm-hmm.
And
What?
Yeah, and you would go. I didn't have kids that I would play with. I wasn't really part of the
Crew.
Yeah. And I would go to Mr. Cards and Comics, and it was all these. What I remember looking. I remember thinking like these are such weird people, different, eclectic, weird. I didn't know I was one of them. You know, I'm like going in, and like these guys that are real nerdy and socially awkward, and some of them smell. I think people know
Sure.
that. People that play, not all of them, but some people that play Magic. If you are a Magic player, I would just check in, ask somebody, say, hey, you have a safe space. Do I smell? Let me know. And the trick is not cologne and perfume. The trick is cleaning your clothes, making sure they dry properly, and showering. And by the way, I'm not even saying shower every day. But if you sweat or if you shower,
Sure.
anyway.
Would adults come in and play with you?
Yeah, there was kids to adults.
Pedophiles.
Whoa.
And everybody was part of the same thing. There's a similar feeling I had when I first moved to LA. I played basketball, And I got into some basketball games with some comics. I remember one of the first comics that I remember being like cool was Steve Renazizi. I never met him before.
Sure.
And I was a fan of the league. I'm like, this is awesome. But when you're playing basketball with these guys, it's about the basketball, not about how much, if you're a headliner or an open micer type of thing.
Of course.
And that's the analogy I have for going into playing Friday Night Magic. You could be 17 or you could be 45. You're all losers.
And how were you?
But losers.
And some of you smell.
Losers, so you smell. But losers.
If one of you smells,
to the
you all
people
smell.
looking in the window. In there, it really is a cool community. And when I moved out to LA, I would play at a card store in Studio City.
You did this as an adult.
Yeah, and there was sanctioned tournament play. So like you were nationally ranked.
That
and
makes
you
it
go
better.
in.
I thought this was amateur shit. You're talking sanctioned?
Well, it's not sanctioned like you're a pro. It's
Rich, I don't care.
But and then after it was after that was every Sunday, and after we would go across the street to Panda Express, and this might be one of your garbage, literally. And a Panda Express receipts, at least back in the day, if you fill out the survey, you call a number, you fill out the survey, you get a free entree with the purchase of another entree. So I would ask people if I could have the receipt when I would go, and there was sometimes I would look at if there was any receipts in the top of the garbage, and I would take a receipt from the garbage and I would just do the survey. So I would get an entree with two sides and a free entree, and I would play my Magic. I would get Panda Express. Dude, it was to be young.